Hey everybody, sorry about all that. Sorry about how the camera looks for anyone who might be watching on Twitch. We just made the Twitch account a couple of minutes ago, and we're trying to work out the crap with Streamlabs to get it camera looking full screen for you guys, but we are on a bit too much of a time crunch to get that working properly today. We got to get things moving along now. Got a busy day ahead of both of us, and normally we'd be able to meet back up tomorrow to finish anything if it took us too long, but I have too much going on, so we got to get this going.
Jeez, chance.
Sorry.
All right. Well, this is Anime Anarchy.
Yes, welcome to Anime Anarchy. We've been going for about 10 or 11 weeks now on uh, Spotify, most like podcasting platforms like audio only. The last 4 or 5 weeks, I think we've been posting our episodes on video onto YouTube. Now we're trying to get things going so we can live stream on Twitch while we're recording for YouTube. Um, Once we get this figured out and we got it like I think working well for us, then we'll probably start trying to live stream on TikTok as well. We'll get around to that soon.
We'll get
Hopefully,
there.
yeah.
We'll get there.
But for now, we just want to talk a little bit about the last two episodes of My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Yes.
I'm actually a huge My Hero Academia fan, and I'm Chance, by the way. This is Sean. He has never seen My Hero Academia, so
No, the first two episodes. Okay.
he's never seen My Hero Academia. So we're watching Vigilantes kind of with me being a prior fan and kind of knowing a lot of like the characters and a lot about the universe, whereas he's watching Vigilantes with a fresh set of eyes, where this is just kind of like its own thing. This is his introduction to the universe.
Yeah, basically.
Aside from the first two episodes of My Hero. But I mean so little actually. I don't even think he starts classes yet at the school
No.
by episode 2. So
No.
he might not even have his quirk yet at the end of episode 2. So
I don't remember.
yeah, so there you go. So yeah, he's watching this with fresh eyes right now. So we talked in our last episode about um, how silly Koichi's powers are, but how excited we are to see how he uses them later on.
Yes, because we did read some fandom, and it's on
Yeah, so
Game
some of
Rant.
the wiki for like the manga, you know.
Yeah, and we just to see his potential and where he can go with his power, just skating on the ground.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me at all because I mean the My Hero as a story, like the mangaka was really good, very talented at making
Sliding on the ground.
oh yeah, sliding on the ground. But no, the mangaka of My Hero is very talented at making a very unimpressive or even lame sounding power work well or like be cool.
Yeah.
You know, like he's really like there's a guy in My Hero. His name is Naval Laser. Do you know what he?
Does he have a laser come out of his belly button?
It's exactly what it
That's
is.
pretty
He
sick.
just yeah. Like it's such a lame little pat, but like he uses it to great effect, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of instances like that. So I know Koichi's going to be able to do great things, even if he never gets any more powerful per se.
Yeah. No, understandably. I mean, he has to understand his quirk better and how to use it, and I think that's fine. You know, we talked about, let's see, probably a couple episodes ago, maybe, where you were like, wouldn't you be excited if maybe he just didn't get stronger, but he can still contribute really well? And
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, no, not really.
Yeah, no, not really.
It's not as, but
that's kind of like the theme of My Hero a lot of the time.
but seeing, reading what he can eventually do with this power, it does give me some hope that it's going to be interesting. And obviously, so far we've got a little bit of character building to do, since it is new.
Yeah.
So Koichi, the main character, he's just a guy that's just a regular guy, really, who just wants to be a hero, but uh, doesn't really have the best quirk. He just slides on the ground.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's interesting
it's
because in
about it.
this universe, it's something like 87 or like 90% of like the population on Earth all have some kind of quirk.
Yeah,
But that's not to say that the majority of people have a quirk that would
they could
be
be a
like
hero
to be
or
a
even a
hero.
sidekick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like some people, their quirk is just dog. Like you're just or a cat man, or like a dog, like
I mean, but it'd be cool if you were a cat man. Do you have
I
the agility of a cat?
so okay. I guess yeah.
'Cause
I
that
guess
would be
there would
sick.
still be ups and
I
downs
mean, a
to
dog
that.
maybe not because they're a
Yeah,
little clumsy,
yeah.
but a cat, I mean, those things,
Fair.
they always land on
I'll
their
give you
feet.
I'll give you that. That's
They're,
actually a lot less lame now that
they're,
we're talking about it than
yeah,
I thought. Yeah.
they're pretty damn agile. So yeah, I mean that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I'm still so new to this that
Yeah.
I have no idea. When I asked him, I was like, "That's a talking rabbit." He was like, "Dude, there are
Yeah,
people
there's a
out there."
lot of like just animal people
Yeah,
in this universe,
yeah,
and then the very next scene, like 2 seconds later, oh, we're talking to a police officer. That's a
he's a
cat,
cat. Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I see what you mean
To
now.
me, it was
Yeah,
just some random ass shit.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, but I mean, it's been pretty interesting so far. We saw in the first episode how the three main characters met each other, Knuckle Duster, Koichi, or
and
the Crawler,
yep, and pop
and
step.
Pops or Bebop. That's her superhero name, or Bebop. Pop Step is so much better.
Stupid. Yeah, pop step is the better name
Right,
objectively.
right,
Like,
and that's her like idol name.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So we saw them come together for the first time. We discussed that last episode, and now they're kind of, I guess, more so getting to know each other.
yeah,
Still working together on trying to figure out what the hell this compound V is, or what we know now is called
yeah, that
Trigger.
trigger. Yeah,
It's this steroid juice for heroes and
or non-heroes. Yeah,
non-heroes. Kind of like in The Boys, where it can give even somebody without powers.
or like or like I guess mutate or enhance whatever power you might already have if
Right.
you do have one.
So and then we see that they get distributed by a guy whose name is Number Six, who
Yeah.
is apparently part of the All for One, uh, you know, quirk situation or experiment,
Yeah,
because he has multiple quirks.
that's my guess. Without having read the manga for Vigilantes, I'm guessing they have to have some kind of like relation to him. Because so and you wouldn't know this, but this is from My Hero, but basically at the beginning of My Hero, you find out, the injury we talked about All Might receiving
Hmm.
happens in a big battle against All for One, but that happens 5 years prior to the show starting. You know what
The
else
regular
happened?
show,
Yeah, the regular show. You know what happens also 5 years before the My Hero starts?
Vigilantes.
This show.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping actually that we might get to see, even if we don't see
That can't be
that
a
fight,
coincidence.
exactly. Even if we don't see that fight between All Might and
Yeah.
All for One, like I have to imagine there's gonna be some kind of tie-in. Even if All for One never shows up, surely some of his like subordinates will.
Right, 100%. And Number
Yeah.
Six could be one of those
Could
subordinates.
be somebody who works with him and then just didn't survive to the main My Hero
Yeah, because I mean,
timeline.
dude is literally just going out random people like in the alleyways, like a regular drug dealer, like giving out free samples
Yeah,
of
to
heroin.
get you hooked on it.
He's uh he's just giving out free samples of trigger,
Yep.
and even to these regular people. And when they inject themselves with it, they literally mutate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. But in this episode, or well, in these
Which
last two,
episode?
sorry, in episode three,
Yeah.
we actually see that the police are onto it as well.
Yep. They're
Right, so it's not
just
just
looking
Knuckle
into it.
Duster,
Yeah.
not just Knuckle Duster looking into it, and
I
they say
assume that
that
means some heroes are as well. At
yeah,
least some hero
and
organizations.
they say that Trigger is expensive, so why would they be putting out free samples? Because that just doesn't make sense. So I think when him and I discussed it when we were watching it today, is that it's literally probably just to create chaos.
Yeah, there has to be some I'm sure there's some like greater plan like behind this. Like there somebody has a goal they're trying to achieve. I just wonder if it's anything more than just causing chaos cuz that's the only thing I can really think cuz I mean, why else would you just be giving this around for free in seemingly very large numbers, you know?
Yeah, and I also wonder if there's like a specific hero that he's trying to,
Like pull out, like draw
yeah,
out or
yeah, either
something.
draw out or just uh, confuse or
Yeah.
distract, something like that.
I would guess that would be if it would be anyone. I would guess it would be All Might
Yeah,
because he's
you would
like the
think
number
so.
one hero right now.
And so let's go back a little bit.
Yeah,
So episode two, we see a little bit more of Eraserhead, right?
yeah. The goat.
Because we only saw a glimpse of him in the first episode at the very end. Rather than like
Yeah,
the intro.
yeah,
But we see him sort of using his powers on these mutated, I guess, roided up thugs. And what was his power again? He basically like
So
takes their
it,
power away.
Eraserhead basically just cuts your power off. He just
Yeah.
levels the playing field.
So he doesn't necessarily take it away. He just turns it off.
He like yeah he turns it off for while he's using his quirk on you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he basically he's like if Batman's power was to just turn off your power, like, and then now you're just a dude fighting Batman.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
Gotcha. So we see a little bit more of Eraserhead, and this is before he started teaching.
yeah. This is when he's still active in his crime fighting career.
And still, I mean, you wouldn't really get that in the show yet. It was more from just us
He's so
reading
nonchalant.
Game
Yeah,
Rant.
yeah.
Sorry, because he's just literally like just wandering the streets, even on his day off.
Wasn't he like grocery shopping?
Yeah,
Like he had a bag
grocery
of
shopping.
groceries
Yeah.
in his hand
Yeah.
when he showed up.
So, yeah, I mean, a hero's work is never done.
Ain't that the truth? He said it was his day off, but I mean, I guess I gotta take care of this.
Exactly. But you do get to see kind of the difference between professional heroes or actual heroes and vigilantes. Because the vigilantes are still, even the three main characters are like, you can hear the sirens. They're like, all right, we got to get out of here
Yeah.
because, we don't want to get
Yeah,
arrested
the
for
cops are
using
on the
our
way.
quirks.
Exactly, yeah.
Even Eraserhead was, stating the obvious, like, hey, that's illegal.
Yeah, so, y'all might not want to be here when other heroes arrive,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. But talk a little bit more about that fight, because
All right, we are back.
sorry guys, my wife called. Um, and I can't avoid a call from my wife.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, what were we talking about? So the fight with Eraserhead.
Yeah, so, and end of the first episode, going into the second episode, there was three
Thugs.
very low level thugs. I mean, like they probably can only really press like non-powered people or like really weak quirks people. Um, they weren't really much of a threat, even as they were to Koichi before. But once they got their hands on some of that trigger, all of them mutated and looked like they became like a lot more powerful. And they attacked Pop Step, and Koichi tried to intervene, but just couldn't do anything. He tried to like do his little slide into him, and I thought he was gonna like slide and like knock the guy over at least, but like he just kind of bounced off of him, and was just kind of sitting there. Please don't do anything to her,
He still
like,
has his All Might hoodie on though.
yeah.
So
So
at least he's got that going for him.
right. Yeah, so he wasn't really much help there. Knuckle he was like praying for All Might to show up, and then Knuckle Duster had a good little line where he was like, "Well, I'm here instead," and then like falls off the top of the building into some trash bags. Um,
Again.
yeah, so we get to a little bit of a fight with them. But then when Eraserhead shows up, And does Eraserhead help them defeat the thugs, or does Knuckle Duster beat them all himself?
No, I'm pretty sure at this point Knuckle Duster beats them.
Right, and then Eraserhead fights Knuckle Duster.
Do they fight?
I think.
I thought they just had a conversation about how it's illegal to use your quirks, but at the same time, we don't know if Knuckle Duster has a quirk or not. We just think that he might be really, really strong.
No, we know he doesn't have a quirk because when they were fighting, Eraserhead was trying to turn off his quirk, but he couldn't.
Exactly.
And was like, "What the f is going on with this guy? Why can't I cut his quirk off?" Because he doesn't have one.
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on. So I'm looking at this. As per usual, I have a character list up so that I can almost pronounce the names.
Right. He's very terrible with Japanese names. And American names.
Yes. So can I mean, this might have some spoilers in there.
Let me see.
Which we do know his real identity now from episode 3.
Well, okay. I wouldn't talk about this on episode 3, but what the hell? No, oh, there we go. So yeah, so he doesn't have a quirk, like I said.
Okay. Well, I didn't read all the way through.
Yeah. See, glad you didn't say anything. Then, yeah. So when he's fighting Knuckle Duster, yeah, he doesn't have a quirk. So when Eraserhead is surprised that, wow, this dude is just strong. I mean, he's just strong. Yeah. He just hits the gym.
He's like Batman.
Yeah.
Like we said.
Yeah.
He talks like Batman too. He's just a little more stupid.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I wonder if we're gonna get to see like him.
I'm gonna guess that and get a backstory.
Yeah.
Because there's so much here, which I'm not gonna talk about.
Yeah, thank you.
There's so much here, spoilers of course, that they really need to go into. Because right now, we don't have any context with these people, right?
Right.
It's just Knuckle Duster seems like a washed up detective, right?
Yeah.
It seems like just sort of like a PI now. Let's see. Then we have B-Pop, or Pop Step, which is her idol name.
Yep.
And she's basically like a singer who can do a giant leap or whatever. She sings on streetlights a lot, it seems like, because it's already 2 times now that she's sang on a streetlight.
Yeah, I guess that's just like her shtick. That's just what she does. She just kind of goes out into the streets and performs for people that want to see her, I guess.
Yeah. And then we have Koichi, who just wanted to be a hero, but couldn't get into, what was it, UA?
Yeah, or any of there are lesser hero high schools. UA is just like the top school.
Yeah.
But he couldn't get into any of them, I'm pretty sure.
So because his quirk was just too
late. Which
even though you said that you can go to a school and not have a quirk,
or at the very least not a good one.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely like equally bad, if not worse, quirks at UA. Like in my opinion, at least.
Well, rather than just not skeeting, okay, sliding. See, when I think of skeet,
because you play too much.
Sliding on.
It's because you play. If you didn't say that so much as a joke,
slither
off screen, you wouldn't say it accidentally on screen.
So literally just sliding on the ground. He tried to pick up litter and do like good Samaritan things.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
He's got a good heart. He just really wants to be here. But once he puts that All Might hoodie on, boy, you better be ready, because he's ready to fight some crime.
Yeah. Ready to be a hero.
He can't, really do anything right now. He tries to trip people by running into their ankles. Doesn't really do much. But he did do one thing very extraordinary. Do you remember that? What that was in episode 2?
What did he do?
He saved Beba when she was falling.
Yes, he did save her when she was falling.
So
because her power is jump, not land.
Right, exactly. So if she jumps, then she can land from high altitudes, right?
Yeah, but if she just falls,
she just falls, then she's gonna die or break something. So he finally does a vertical climb or crawl.
Yeah,
because he's the crawler.
Up the wall.
and basically like jumps out so that she can jump off of him. I guess like it's just catapult
Right.
off of him
Yeah.
so that she can now
Like a
use her
springboard.
ability, uh, which just shows that one, now he knows he can climb vertical things or
Yep.
crawl up, whatever you want to call it.
Slide.
Two, just shows how selfless he is. He barely knows this chick,
Yep.
and but
Putting
he
himself at
wants to,
risk for her.
right. He put his life on the line to save her.
Yep. He's definitely got what it takes to be a hero.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say even more so than Izuku Midoriya in the main show, at least at first, because like Midoriya, while he was born quirkless, his whole thing is like he wants to find a way to become a hero, without a quirk, because like he's still, his whole thing is like he wants to be a hero. He will never let not having a quirk like deter him from that. Um but then things kind of like, it kind of gets away from the core of his character when he becomes the most powerful hero.
I'm
Like
sure.
when he
Yeah.
gets like the most powerful, because when he gets all for one or
One for
one
all.
for all, yeah, when he gets one for all, he one be like, I mean, yeah, he's still not nearly anywhere up to like All Might at first, because he has to like learn to control the power and not like
And
break
condition
his bones every time
survive.
he
Yeah.
uses his super strength. But then later on in the series, and I know, like I said, I know you haven't watched it, but you'll probably forget, mostly anyway. And you probably heard this on other podcasts and videos anyway, but like super strength ain't the only thing he can do. By the end of the show, or by the point where we are currently in the show, he's got like 6 or 7 different powers. Like,
Well,
how are you the most
and that because that's from like the
were
previous.
previous, yeah,
Yeah. One
owners
for all.
of the power?
Yeah.
But I'm like, how can your whole character arc be about becoming a hero with no quirk,
Yeah.
and then you become the hero with the most quirks? Whereas Koichi is never going to get new powers.
No.
He's just going to learn to use his current powers
Yeah.
in much more creative ways to overcome his weaknesses and still be a hero despite all of
Yeah.
that, which I think, even
It's
though
not more
he'll,
admirable.
yeah, exactly, like while he's gonna end up having a much lesser impact on the greater universe than Midoriya ever will, and he won't ever probably be able to fight on the same kind of level that Midoriya can. I think, like, in terms of like his character, like, I think that kind of like means more for Koichi what he is going to accomplish, more than likely,
Yeah.
than what like Midoriya did. You know?
Yeah. Definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you there.
Not that I don't love Deku, he is a great character. Love him, but he's just, and I have this. You'll, if you end up watching anything else that we do, you'll hear me talk about. I do not like most main characters in animes. They're not my favorite characters. I usually end up preferring one side character or another, to the MC.
And
Um,
I'm usually the opposite.
yeah, Deku's a pretty cool MC. I do like him. He's just not my favorite character in the show. There's so many more interesting people in his show. Koichi, though, so far, I have to say he's probably my favorite character as so far in these 3 episodes of
Yeah.
Vigilantes. Definitely got like good heart, good character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit of, going back to Pop Step. We or you told me that she's supposed to only be 14 years old.
Yeah, she's actually a teenager.
Uh,
Let me Google that to confirm,
so
but I'm pretty sure that's what I had seen the other day.
so there was, in the first episode, it makes this creepy. Okay, so in the first
Yeah.
episode, well, one, she is on a, what is it, a street light, and she has a giant leap
Yep.
or whatever, and she wears a skirt. So I mean, you know, put your imagination there. But then when the three thugs, first have a legitimate fight with these three heroes, uh, they were going to literally, rip her clothes off and take dirty pictures of her and God knows what else at that point.
So, in the first chapter of the manga, Vigilantes manga, it said that she's in high school. And after the 3 year time skip that's going to come at some point in the show, which happened in the manga, she's still in high school. So she's probably at best a freshman right now, so
She's probably
14,
like 14,
15.
15, yeah.
And then after the time skip, she'll be like
Senior.
16, 17, maybe 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit creepy, and then you get some nuanced things here and there,
Again, this is just one of them things you
Yeah.
have to get used to
Yeah.
with anime. Unfortunately, it's just uh, I don't know. It's just part of the culture in Japan to be uh, tell weird,
Things.
creepy stories about teenagers. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't mean to sound. I don't mean to like generalize all of Japanese culture, but like that is very much a thing.
Yeah.
A very common trope within anime.
It's like sexualized.
Yeah.
Right.
Very much so.
But I mean, but it's very nuanced, right? I mean, unless you really like dig into it, you can very easily just look over it. Because the show itself has been pretty great. Like I said, a lot of character building. But like I said, I don't really remember too much about the second episode. There wasn't really
It didn't not much
that
happened. No.
But the third episode, which we just watched, you get a little bit more action here. So and you get to see I guess the secret identity of Knuckle Duster, who is I wow.
Brother, I don't know what his name.
I wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh wow.
And until I hear it spoken out loud, I'm not gonna know how to pronounce it.
So we see his true identity. He's gone into Koichi's, I guess, apartment.
Yeah,
he just breaks it there all the time, which is weird. Just this old guy goes in there and watches shows and drinks beer.
Yep. Helping himself to the
and Koichi, we thought was a kid. He's like in his 20s.
Yeah, so he's
got to be like taking college classes or something.
Yeah, he looks like he's about the same age as like Midoriya's classmates in My Hero, but then he's like college.
And then there's middle school kids that look like they're adults.
Dude, those middle school kids look like they're 10 years older than Koichi.
Right.
Look like they're in their 30s.
Literally, when she's on for the second time in the show, when she's on the streetlight singing, and she's got her fans down there like cheering her on. This guy basically splooges out his love from his face.
Yeah.
I guess his laser eye.
I didn't.
Because his love is just filling up to the brim, and he can't keep control of it, and it just gushes out into the sky.
Can you stop saying splooge and gush? Like, thank you.
I mean, I'm just saying what everybody's thinking that's seen this. Everybody knows. Everybody's gonna know.
I was thinking that more so on the fish dude who was leaving a trail of white slime everywhere he touched and slithered. Yeah.
So these guys they have like beards and shit, and when
one guy's beard is bigger than yours and mine.
And when Bebop was talking about it later, she's like, these middle schoolers were trying. And I'm like, what do you mean middle school? About? They look older than Koichi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they easily look
like
mid to late 20s, exactly. Easily.
So this is my dog Reese.
Yes, hello Reese.
He's always going to be a star of the show.
Oh yeah.
He's a crucial part of the podcast here.
Yes, he is.
So that's interesting. But then there's this boy who, let's not use your paws. There's this boy that's like trying to get in there, and he just wants to hold her hand, or give her a handshake just for the vast amount of love he has for her.
Yeah.
And I just spit on the table. And he ends up having this trigger, or this compound V, whatever you want to call it. Trigger, I think, is still...
Yeah, trigger's the...
a weird word, though. Like, I guess.
I guess you could like, it triggers a mutation in your quirk or something. I don't know.
And he injects himself. He turns into a giant slimy eel.
Yeah, little eel
And then
boy.
he's like, "Oh yeah, now I can touch her." And
Yeah.
so then he just tries to slither at her, and you get all these like comic book descriptions of the noises that he's making, like a squelch, and
Yeah, I didn't
it's
love that too
just
much either.
so nice. They, of course, go probably the same alleyway that they were in before, to be
Yeah,
honest with
probably.
you, because they're in the same spot. And he just starts, he gets a handshake from her, and he's like, I need more. So he just
Yeah.
wraps himself around
Yeah.
her, and he's just like,
Because they're like, oh, he's just a big fan. Maybe if you just give him the handshake, he'll stop. And then he was like, oh, that was great. Now I need more. Now
and
give me a hug. Give me a
it's just
kiss.
sliming
Like,
all over her.
yeah.
And she's 14, or
Yeah.
15.
Maybe 15.
And this dude, the way that he talks when he's in the police station after he gets arrested, he talks like he's an adult.
Well, okay, so I was gonna say, given his height and like his facial structure, I think he looks like he's probably about like 10 years old, maybe younger, which means he's probably like
Prepubescent.
34.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Just the way they're so inconsistent with how people are drawn.
Yeah, true.
Like he's probably 34, looking like an 8-year-old. You
Yeah,
know, so
exactly.
I don't know.
At least Knuckle Duster takes control of that situation a little bit,
Yeah.
and arrests him. And then that's when we get they hear the police sirens. They're like, oh shit, we got to get out of here. Straight vigilante stuff,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. See that side of it.
I did think, now obviously this isn't like a 200 IQ play or anything like that. Like this doesn't make him a genius by any means, but I do think that Knuckle Duster showed a little bit more like cleverness than we've been giving him credit for when he covered that dude in flour,
Yes.
so that it would absorb his moisture
100%.
so that they could actually hit him.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he was too slippery.
Yeah.
Like that was clever.
Yeah.
That was resourceful,
Yes.
Like I said, it's not like, oh, Batman, like, but but like that was, I don't know if I would have thought of that as quickly as he did.
Oh no, definitely not. I don't know.
You would have just been kept trying to grab him, hold on to him,
just squash him.
just pull out a blade and
Yeah.
slip through this,
or get a rake. So yeah, after that situation is done, we see this, and this is probably the best part of the episode, because we see some real villainous stuff here. Like it could be a legitimate like arch villain of the series.
I thought that. Excuse me. You're talking about the introduction of Queen Bee.
Yes.
Dude, Queen Bee. That was such a brief little like scene, but like it left me like really excited for the next episode.
Yep.
Because like when that bee came up, because she's just walking around acting like a middle school girl or high school girl.
She's like a Pop Step fan, or she acts like a Pop Step fan.
Yeah.
And she even gets a picture with
she might
Pop Step.
actually be a fan. I mean, she's in high school. She might be a villain, but yeah.
Right? And then go ahead. You see this bee coming around her, right? And it's got something in it.
It's like a vial, like it's like
a stinger.
but with a stinger also.
Right.
But yeah, like a vial and syringe almost, like on the butt of this bee.
And of course, what we immediately thought when we watched it is, that's got to be the trigger.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's the same purple stuff. It
yep.
looks like. And what a intricate way to distribute the trigger and cause chaos. You know what I mean?
I was saying,
especially for like a young person to do that.
Like if I just wanted to like cause chaos out in the world, what better quirk is there than like what she's doing to be able to send just bees out and inject people with this drug that'll make them go crazy, and cause, and then you don't have to be anywhere near it.
Literally chaos.
Yeah.
And this bee, when it crawled into her eye socket, right? And you don't see it actually in the eye socket.
Yeah, because it goes through like the eye patch.
The patch.
Yeah.
That's when we were thinking like, oh shit,
this must be hers.
She's got to be up to something.
Because at first, my first thought was it was just going to inject her and turn her into
her eye socket, which I thought was going to be crazy.
But then when nothing happened and she started walking away, I was like, no, that's hers.
Because she was like, I gotta go. Like, okay,
like I gotta go. Yeah, she's like, I gotta go to work. Like,
she wasn't freaking out that there was a bee.
which anybody else would have been.
Yeah, especially just crawling in your eye socket.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So then she talks about she's a student by day and she's a villain at night. And I was like, oh shit, here it comes. And here she goes. She unleashes her swarm of bees that have this trigger in their, I don't even know, the butt of the bee. What's it called? It's a thorax or something like that. I don't know. But where bee stingers usually are, or like their
Yeah.
butts. But
I don't know much about bee anatomy. I'm going to be honest with you. I skipped that part of biology.
yeah, me too. So she unleashes the swarm, and honestly, I thought the episode was going to cut right there. I didn't know how.
It's going to go a little further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it goes further to where you see these people, these regular citizens, get stung by these bees, and they just immediately mutate into something like horrific, and it's all random.
Dude, and this one dude, I felt bad for this one guy. I mean, you feel bad for a lot of the people you see in the streets getting infected, but like there was one guy in particular that stood out to me. He was just like just holding his hands out in like absolute like horror because like just a steady stream of like just purple goo was just spraying out of them.
What would you
like a fire hose? Like what the hell is that?
Just be oozing.
Yeah, just like with the pressure of a fire hose, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'd be freaking out.
Ridiculous. Or that guy that turned into like a giant slug. I mean,
oh no, that's probably worse. I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, that's
just. And you got to think that these people, they do still, at least the ones with quirks that we've seen, they still have their consciousness, right? They can still think, they still have their personalities. So I would imagine that even though regular citizens that don't have quirks, which there are not a lot of regular citizens out there, they can still think, so they know exactly what's going on with them. Like they're fully conscious of what's happening to their bodies, and they're just like, "What the fuck is this? I thought I got stung by a bee."
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
But we get to see that happen, and then all of a sudden, here comes the professional heroes.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna have to see like Koichi, Popstep, and Knuckle Duster at least try to fight these guys, but before they could even get up out of their seats,
like comes Endeavor and
and like a whole bunch of like top tier heroes from the main show,
and even All Might.
Yeah, even All Might shows up, and they have it contained in like just a couple seconds, minutes at most.
I mean, that just, I guess, shows like the difference in like scale of power between what we've been like,
what we've been seeing with Vigilantes
versus what's really happening out there with the pros. It's just a very small, nuanced part of society, I guess.
Yeah, and I would argue that both parties, like both sides of this hero thing, are going to be equally as important in taking down whatever like I guess operation or like society is doing this, whether it's One for All or somebody else that's behind it. I think it's going to be like the pro heroes are going to be just as crucial on like the front lines. Like I think there's going to be a lot of these like villains running amok constantly throughout the series. We're going to see a lot of like pro heroes taking them out and taking the brunt of like the main fighting. But then beneath the scenes, like they're gonna be like, I guess, like protecting the people as far as like what the media is concerned. But then behind the scenes, I think you're gonna see Knuckle Duster's team is gonna be the one that actually finds the source of this.
Yeah, because I bet you it's gonna be because I'm sure there's red tape for the professional heroes.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And it all depends on the scale and the danger level of what you can see. Right?
Did you ever watch Young Justice?
No, you asked me this before.
Dude, okay.
And
another show, you need to watch that. It's a good one. But, like, that's basically what that whole premise of that show is about, where, so, like, the Teen Titans don't exactly exist in that universe, but what they are is, so the Justice League in that universe, they're, like, they actually have, like, almost like a treaty kind of thing, like, signed with the United Nations. So, legally, the Justice League can only operate in a United Nations country that has given permission for the Justice League to operate there. So what you see is a lot of these like alliances of like villains and criminals operate out of countries that aren't on that list. So when something happens and like a base needs to be infiltrated or something needs to be done that the Justice League can't either legally do or they can't do because of public perception, they send the kids because all the kids they like go undercover with their costumes. They're all like black ops
Yeah,
kind of
people don't
thing.
know who they
They
are.
don't know who they are because all these sidekicks are not public heroes.
Right.
Like,
Gotcha.
yeah, they only get seen in public really with their like Kid Flash only really gets seen with Flash. Like Robin or Nightwing only gets seen with Batman. So like when the kids are just alone undercover, and even if they do get caught, well, they're not actually members of the league, so they can't be like the league can't be punished. So like the
Right.
kids could be if they got caught, but the league can't be.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not gonna.
it's not gonna blow back on
Right.
them exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of what we're gonna see
Yeah.
here, where like they're gonna Knuckle Duster, Koichi, and them. They're gonna do what the pro heroes can't legally do to be able to get to the bottom of this crisis.
Yeah, and see, and that's where I was going with this is that we see them show up when that happens, right? Because it's like chaos
Yeah.
in the streets,
Yeah.
right? It's public, like people can see it happening from everywhere that's around that area,
Yeah.
and so they're automatically going to call out for the heroes, but nobody is going to bat an eye to number six because he's still in the shadows. I believe he's probably always going to be in the shadows,
Yeah.
just dealing this stuff out. And that's going to be where the vigilantes come into play because why are the heroes going to be just searching for one person? Why are they even going to be interested in this whole shenanigans?
Yeah.
Right.
At least until like there's more concrete evidence of some grand scheme that's going on,
Right.
because I don't even know like because the pro heroes, even if they're aware that there's some drug out on the streets that's causing this, like they don't know where to start, so like
Right. And
they're not
they
going to
can't
waste resources just
walk in the street.
just yeah going door to door trying to
Right.
find so I mean they're just going to keep reacting to a crisis as they happen
Right.
and hope that in one of these like things they'll find somebody who's responsible.
Because I'm guessing if they walk in the streets, it's going to be like a celebrity, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be crowded by people who are trying to get autographs or trying to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they got to have people in the shadows that nobody knows, besides Pop Step, because I still don't.
Yeah.
She needs to have a better
Well,
hero identity.
I
think,
agree.
because there's no difference between
And her
Pop Step and
costume,
Bebop.
yeah, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Just a slightly different, like she does her hair a little differently, I think.
I guess so.
Maybe. Yeah.
So, but anyway, but do you see where I'm going with this? I mean, it's
Yep.
just like it makes a lot of sense that these guys are going to be the most crucial to this specific problem
Yeah.
for the city, and which is a huge problem, obviously.
Well, it's kind of funny. I wasn't even. I was thinking of like Young Justice as a good like comparison, but honestly, My Hero is perfect too because like it's the same situation in My Hero where they're students, so they can't like go out and be heroes and do this and that or whatever. But like they just keep finding themselves in situations where like they're the only
Like,
heroes
trouble
around.
finds
Yeah, trouble finds them. The pro heroes aren't around, and so they end up having to save the day,
Yeah.
even at the cost of like getting in trouble. So like there it's definitely like in this universe it definitely seems like there's just too much red tape sometimes for the heroes to be like truly effective. Like all they can really do is like react to crimes. Like, but I think in something like this, especially like with this like drug, this trigger going around, like what we need is somebody who can trace the source of it
Yeah.
and stop it before it continues
Yeah.
happening.
They gotta do the dirty work.
Yeah.
They gotta get their hands dirty. They gotta snuff it out really, and they
Yep.
gotta get to the root of the problem. They have to do that like legitimate detective work.
Yeah.
Which the professional heroes probably don't have the time. They have too much publicity, right?
Yeah.
And probably, like you said, too much red tape. So this show, I mean, this is going to be crucial because number six, he really reminds me, and I know you haven't watched it yet, but of the main demon in Demon Slayer.
Mhm.
He acts as a human, right? Like he's been around for he was the one who began it all.
Okay.
Right? And you get that pretty early on. I mean, I'm only what 11 episodes.
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So it's not like a spoiler or anything. But he acts and blends in as a human. He even has, a family.
Yeah.
But once he gets hit some of his blood inside of you, uh, he's the one that can turn people into demons. He's the only thing that can turn regular people into demons.
That's pretty crazy.
So all the demons come from him.
That's pretty crazy.
And that's what, but he works in the shadows, and that's what this number 6 reminds me of, because nobody knows who the hell he is.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody knows what he looks like. They just know that something's happening in the city. Where's it coming from? Power
Yeah.
people getting this juice, this liquid, and and why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, these vigilantes are going to be crucial in these smaller characters. And I'm sure we're going to find along the way, we're going to get more and more small time, I guess you call like wannabe heroes or heroes that
I would
don't
hope so.
necessarily have a license, but
Yeah.
want to do something good. You know what I mean?
I would hope so. That like just the three like heroes that we've seen so far. I hope they're not like the only like main cast that we get.
Yeah.
However, I won't be upset if they are, because so one of the biggest problems I think that like My Hero Academia like proper has is the cast is way too big.
Yeah.
Like they have
Too many
dozens of main characters or major characters that they had to follow, that you end up just like losing a lot of them. Like some of the like really important characters like go and depending on what's going on like uh like, okay, you see the guy who was like he like in a steel armor and he was like running super fast. He has like engines coming out of his leg. Ingenium from this last episode of Vigilantes.
Yeah.
So he has a younger brother who will be in Midoriya's class in My Hero, and he is like the fourth main character for like the first 3 or 4 seasons, and then like in season I don't remember if it's like 5 or 6, but like one of the more recent seasons, just not in at all. Just like yeah, just not there.
So you get invested.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and then he's just missing for like almost a season, like because like or like people that they set up in the first season, like first 12, 13 episodes, you'll see them like hey, what's up guys? Like a little wave and like a brief little we gotta help Deku,
Yeah.
but like. There's just too many characters to juggle and keep track of. Nobody really gets the time that they need to shine properly,
right?
So or like frequently enough. So
Yeah.
I do think a
Luckily-
smaller cast could work
Yeah.
in their favor.
Luckily, I believe that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
But I am hoping though that we do see like some tidbits here and there of other.
like I'd like to see other
with
vigilantes.
small time
Yeah.
quirks that are assisting in the, because I don't know if these three are going to be able to snuff out this whole thing by themselves,
Right.
But we also know that the police are also trying to snuff it out, and trying to figure out what's going on. So they are aware of that too. So maybe they may end up working together at some point.
Yeah.
Even though it's illegal to, because kind of like a Gordon Batman situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like okay, like I understand what you're doing is illegal,
Yeah.
but
It's for the greater.
it's for the greater good. Like we do need somebody to be able to do what you are doing that we can't.
Right.
You know
Exactly. Because police have red tape too.
Yeah.
So these vigilantes, they can basically do whatever they want as long as they don't get caught. Right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
But anyway, I mean, this was a shorter episode. We are at time.
Yeah, about time to pack
we
up.
had to figure out this whole streaming thing.
Yeah, normally we can go a little bit longer, but
Next time.
yeah,
we'll
time's a little
time,
constrained
I
today.
promise. But thank you guys for watching.
Yep, thank you anyone who did tune in. We appreciate it. Anyone who ends up watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel. Shows the YouTube algorithm that you want to see more of us.
We're trying to do this full time, so we're just starting out. So just
bear with us. The quality will only go up from here. And anyone who has seen some of our or listened to some of our earlier episodes, will know that we have only improved since then.
Greatly, to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, but we appreciated it,
Yep. Thanks,
and
guys.
we'll see you guys later.
See you next time. Bye.